Fox Sports.
We are Black. We are Wisconsin.
Two outs in the ninth. Jeffers deals, and he struck him out, and the Brewers win. Back to the postseason.
You're happy for, for Bob Uecker, for Mark Antanasio, for the dude that's sitting next to the dugout every day, the couple in the upper deck, the people at the retirement community that got 3 good hours every night of Brewer baseball. You're happy that you're giving them something special.
We have people all over the world, literally all over the world, who are working to help us get to a moment like this.
Yeah!
You grew up watching these celebrations on TV all the time, and you just wanted to be a part of something like that.
This is what I dream about when I stand here to go to the playoff, and I'm so happy that I contribute to the team.
Like I said, to bring it back to the team that gave me my first opportunity, my first shot. Like I say, it's something that I want to do when they made that phone call this offseason.
There will be October baseball for the Brewers in 2018. What a ride it's been. That was the scene on Wednesday, day off yesterday. Now we wipe the slate clean. The Brewers getting ready for their final regular season homestand. Right now, a game and a half back of the Chicago Cubs, who won earlier today. They beat the St. Louis Cardinals at Wrigley. And the Brewers, they have secured not only that wild card berth, but also home field in the wild card game if they do not win the division. All the pieces in place. Going to be a big crowd on hand tonight. Interleague baseball for this final regular season series. It's the Brew Crew against the Detroit Tigers. And hi, everybody. With that, we welcome you from Miller Park. Great to have you with us. It is great to be home. This is a live wire crowd. And Bill Schroeder, this is one of those nights where the Brewers are trying to put all that has happened in the past. You want to look forward, but they have put themselves in a position here to win a division with a very memorable September.
You know what? Probably good they had yesterday off because it was kind of emotional. We're in a cork countdown right now. There's one down. We had one bubbly pop in St. Louis. They got into the postseason. They'd like to win the wild card if they have to do that, win the division, the league, and then the World Series. So we're counting down the corks. And right now the Brewers are playing some of the best baseball of the season. Everything seems to be working well. When the offense hasn't been there, the pitching has picked them up. Bullpen continues to be a big story. Team in run average overall has been there. They're first in the National League. That record 16-7, just when they needed it most. A 5-1 road trip. They sweep the Cardinals. They're in the postseason. They have a lot more bigger fish to fry on this Fish Fry Friday than just that.
Well, we're all set for the Tigers and the Brewers. As we make our way to first pitch, we'll get into the starting pitching matchup, which includes Zach Davies and a Wisconsin native. That's all coming up right after this. Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Hupy and Abraham. Voted best, rated best, Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. By Miller Lite, great taste and only 96 calories. And by Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Got that touch of fall in the air here in Milwaukee tonight, ready for a Friday night of baseball inside Miller Park. And our pitching matchup tonight, a local kid done well. Jordan Zimmerman, author of a no-hitter in his career, the Auburndale, Wisconsin native, will get the ball for the Tigers. Zach Davies on the mound for the Brewers. Don't worry about the numbers. A healthy Davies, a force in that starting rotation. Christian Yelich trying to stake his claim to an MVP. He is the leading hitter in the National League coming into play tonight. .321 batting average. You see Lorenzo Cain currently third in the National League. Should be a lot of fun. We're ready to play ball. Lineups, first pitch coming your way. It's the Brewers and the Tigers. Interleague Baseball, the final regular season series of the year. Wednesday will always be a day we remember in Brewers history. It marked the franchise's 5th postseason berth and a celebration 7 years in the making. But that is only the first step. The battle for the division title is still ongoing. Will the magic of Miller Park continue this weekend? Only 3 games remain before the postseason. It's time to find out if this regular season will end with more excitement. Great to have you with us tonight on a Friday night. 50 degrees outside Miller Park. Roof is all closed up. Panels are closed. Perfectly comfortable inside as we get set for Friday night baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin. The Detroit Tigers and their Potawatomi batting order with Jeimer Candelario, Harold Castro, Nicholas Castellanos at the top of the order, ready to lead off against Zach Davies, whose first pitch is up and away we go. Davies' numbers this year, the 2-7 record, the 4.65 ERA. The most important stat is this is start number 13. He's back in the mix now.
He's having a pretty good month of September, although he doesn't have the wins to show for it. He's 0-2 in 4 starts, but a .332 earned run average. Lack of run support has been his issue. His last 2 times out, both losses. First time ever to face the Tigers.
Tigers coming here 64-95. It has been a rough year for them. Right back through the box, past Davies, and RC is there to make the play. I think they got a piece of Zach, so that'll be a 1-6-3 put out, and that's how the night begins for the Brewer right-hander. Just 25 years of age, and the fact that he missed so much time this year but has been a regular fixture in that rotation in the month of September and going into the postseason is the most important piece to the Zach Davies puzzle this year. Shoulder problems, had inflammation earlier this season. Anytime you're dealing with shoulder injuries, if you come back in the same year, that's a good sign. They were able to get to it early and calm some of that irritation down.
Yep, and Zach's been throwing the baseball pretty well, in particular his fastball location and his changeup. His changeup's been a very effective pitch. And since coming back, you figure that's going to be a good matchup with Zach and these young hitters for the Tigers. Changeups usually give these guys problems.
Harold Castro, one of the 2 left-handed hitters in the lineup, but there are 3 switch hitters in the lineup, and that one, a little soft liner, is going to fall for a base hit. Clean single to center field for Castro. Tigers are getting a look at a lot of their young players, pieces they want to build around for next season. There is no Miguel Cabrera. He's been out since early July. Torn biceps muscle, had surgery on that. Victor Martinez has played his last game after 16 years. He is retiring. Michael Fulmer, their terrific right-handers, out with a knee injury. Their excellent shortstop Jose Iglesias is out with an abductor strain. So they've got reason for a record that is 31 games under 500.
Yeah, Ron Gardenhire's first year with the Tigers has been a rough one, full of challenges. Had some terrific seasons managing the Minnesota Twins.
But do not take the Tigers lightly, because this is a team that is free and easy. They've got some minor league guys trying to prove themselves in the majors. They play hard. Gardenhire has been a manager of the year before in the American League. Took the Twins to 6 postseasons. Looks like Castellanos might have broken his bat on that last foul ball. Castellanos, their best hitter and certainly their best run producer of those that are available. They are without Kristen Stewart tonight. He is not on the DL and certainly available to potentially pinch hit, but he's been battling some injuries. Had a 3-hit game yesterday, and he is not in their starting lineup. So it's another loss. Even the second wave of talent starting to succumb to injuries as well in Detroit.
Yeah, but again, the Brewers have an awful lot to play for. The Tigers are just, as you mentioned, out there free and easy, no pressure on them. And sometimes that is a very difficult opponent to have to deal with. Unpredictable they can be.
And they will certainly be energized by a big crowd they'll be playing in front of here tonight and the rest of this series. This swing and a miss. 0-2 the count on Castellanos. This is the one bat that the Brewers will make sure does not beat them tonight. He's had a terrific year. Pitcher friendly park in Detroit. He's hit for a batting average of .298, 22 homers, 88 runs batted in for Castellanos. OPS at .850. Those are strong numbers for a team that has struggled as the Tigers have.
Kind of a fair ballpark over at Comerica Park. I mean, I wouldn't classify it as an overly difficult ballpark to hit home runs, but not a bandbox either. And those are good numbers for him.
No balls, 2 strikes. And that one's a little flare. Shaw is going to watch this one bounce. And turning and heading to third, Castro. Throw comes to second base. And the Tigers, with a couple little flares into center field, have it set up early in this first inning with 2 on and 1 away.
Yep, right off the end of the bat for both of them. Castro able to dump one out there. This is a, looks like a cutter. Yeah, from Davies. You can see the way Castellanos was able to reach out. He got it down on the label. Didn't hit it very hard, but able to dump it out there into center field. Can't leave those pitches up in the zone. Got to get them down. Get ground balls.
Davies, a ground ball pitcher, could use one here. The speedy Nico Goodrum at the plate. He has shown some flashes as well. Powerful switch hitter. Goodrum with 16 home runs. Has 49 RBIs. He's played in 128 games for the Tigers this year. Tigers threaten early. 2 on, 1 out. Goodrum takes a ball, and it's 2-0. Be a lot of scoreboard watching tonight. Cubs already beat the Cardinals. You got the Dodgers will be in San Francisco facing Madison Bumgarner. That was the final of the Cubs game, 8-4. Cardinals did have a late rally, but coming up short. Colorado Rockies hosting the Nationals tonight. Craig Kashan's all over the scoreboard this evening. Brewers know they're going to the postseason. They know they will at least have a home game in the postseason, whether it be a wild card game, which would be Tuesday, or if they won the division, they would have a home game in the National League Division Series beginning Thursday. 2-1.
Well, the Brewers feel like they need to win out. They need to sweep this series. They need to hope that the Cardinals beat the Cubs one of the next 2 games and force that playoff game for the division on Monday at Wrigley.
Three balls and a strike. Dangerous spot to be in this first inning. And a swing and a miss. Sinking fastball from Davies. It's 3-2.
Throwing a lot of fastballs. I mean, really hadn't broken out the changeup as of yet. Good movement on that fastball going down and away.
Full count. Nico Goodrum at the plate. Here it comes. And he slashes one foul. Same fastball. Davies having to grind a little bit in this first inning. Do it again. Another 3-2 offering from Davies. And a little tapper. Going to be a tough play. Arcia no play. A run is in. And the Tigers with 3 consecutive hits have taken the early lead here tonight.
Yep, haven't hit the ball hard yet, but they're making contact. Pretty good pitch that time by Zach, but a little nubber got by him. And just kind of the way it goes. Another 2-seam fastball right off the end of the bat. Not able to get there. Tough play for Arcia.
Well, you think back to Wednesday with Chacin on the mound against the Cardinals and all those line drive outs. It's been the opposite for Davies. 3 batted balls that wouldn't win you a snow cone.
No.
But 3 hits, and the Tigers are on the board in the first. They are threatening for more. 2 on, 1 away. Jim Adducey at the plate.
A lot of left-handed bats that Zach Davies going to face. 2 lefties, 3 switch hitters. And left-handers usually very vulnerable to that changeup. We haven't seen too many.
There's a rollover, and that's going to get through. A base hit, and another run's going to score. And this is the ultimate bad luck inning for Zach Davies right here. Man. 2-0 Detroit. First and third. Adducey with an RBI on a broken bat roller between Shaw and Aguilar.
Yeah, no exit velocity at all in this entire inning. There it is, right off the end of the bat, and somehow finds its way into right field. Talk about your seeing eye base hit. I think Aguilar's got to keep going for that baseball. Might have been able to get it out at second base. Zach Davies just can't believe the luck that he is, or lack thereof, right in the middle of.
You got to keep your focus now. One swing of the bat, and the Brewers could be in a serious uphill climb. And a guy with some pop coming up here in James McCann.
And if you're Zach Davies, don't do anything differently. I mean, you're throwing well. I mean, none of these balls have been hit hard. Down on the label, off the end, but they're putting him in pretty good spots. So there's not an adjustment that you really have to make here.
Big Tigers catcher at the plate. 4 straight hits. And a wave and a miss. Good breaking ball from Davies.
Let's see if somebody hit one hard right at Arcia here. Hitting it soft is working for him.
Two runs are in. Tigers have him at the corners. And the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Right back to it. And it's 0-2. Well, you got to have a lot of trust in your catcher in a spot like this. You got to trust that he'll block that slider in the dirt.
Yep, and if you don't have trust in Kratz and Arcia by now, man, they're very good at blocking pitches.
See if he gives him another one. No balls, 2 strikes on McCann. And he did, but it just missed. One ball, 2 strikes. Well, some high stress pitches early for Zach Davies. You never want to come out of the bullpen as a starter and your opening inning have to go deep into the bag as he is right now.
Yeah, it can really wear you down a lot more than it would, you know, 2nd, 3rd, 4th inning. Right out of the bullpen.
23 pitches thus far. 4 hits. Here's another 1-2. And McCann lays off that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tigers lost yesterday against the Twins. They have not played well on the road. They are a poor road team this year. 26 games under 500 away from Comerica Park. 26 wins on the road all season long. 2-2. And now it's full.
Yeah, good patience laying off that pitch. A little off-speed pitch just down in the zone.
You never know from the expressions of Zach Davies whether he's pitching well, putting up zeros, or giving up hits. That's one thing Craig Counsell likes about him the most. He is a steady presence on the mound. Being pressed here in the 1st inning. And a ground ball through, base hit. Another run's in. And another one that finds a hole. 5 straight hits. 3-0 Tigers right out of the gates.
Yep. Well, they're putting the ball in play. They might not be hitting everything hard, but they're making contact. And they've had incredible fortune, good fortune in finding holes. He hooks a slider. That cut fastball. And able to sneak one into left field. Worst case scenario for the Brewers.
Still just 1 out. Here is Jacoby Jones. And it's quickly 0-2 on Jones. Brandon Woodruff already throwing in the Brewers bullpen. And I'm sure Zach Davies sensing that.
And you're not talking about a guy that's getting hit all over the ballpark. We're not talking about gappers and outfielders running after balls up against a wall. I mean, you're talking, he's throwing the baseball pretty well. I mean, not getting a lot of the plate.
0-2 pitch is a called strike 3. Snuck a fastball by him. Jones looking for the breaking ball, perhaps.
Yeah, it looks like they are, right? I mean, that might be why, Zach was early in this inning was really establishing fastball, and that one has plenty of the plate. Finally an out after 5 consecutive hits.
And the 8th batter of the inning, Victor Reyes, the switch hitting left fielder. Reyes gets a start here tonight. Came in as a defensive replacement against the Twins in their last game on Wednesday. And he taps one over to Aguilar, and that will retire the side finally. Rough inning, odd inning, bad luck inning for Zach Davies. Now the Brewers bats have to go to work. The Brewers here tonight. 3 runs are in for the Tigers. Brewers have 9 innings to try to mount a comeback, and the way they've been swinging the bats, they certainly have the potential to do that. Craig Counsell taking his first team as a manager to the postseason. The Milwaukee native, Whitefish Bay to be exact. Got to be a thrill for him to be on this side of it. Potawatomi batting order: Lorenzo Cain, Christian Yelich, and Jesus Aguilar. Travis Shaw, Ryan Braun, Mike Moustakas make up the middle, with Eric Kratz, Orlando Arcia, and Zach Davies rounding out the starting 9. And there is no ordinary pitcher on the mound. Jordan Zimmerman, his numbers this year with a 7-8 record and a 4.31 ERA, Rock, but he is charged up to be pitching in his home state once again.
Yep, he's got family and friends in the ballpark. His first year was 2009 with the Washington Nationals. UW Stevens Point, 2nd-round draft choice to the Nationals in 07. Making start number 8 against the Brewers. He's 5-1, but a 4.08 earned run average. Last time the Brewers faced Zimmerman back in 2015.
Jordan Zimmerman, 2-time All-Star, authored a no-hitter 4 years ago. Good start against the Royals his last time out, and his first pitch to Lorenzo Cain is in there for a strike. Cain with that .310 batting average is 3rd in the league. On base percentage of .400, which is also 3rd in the National League. He's 4th in stolen bases. He's had a great year and will be a big part of any success the Brewers have in the postseason. He has been a big game hunter in the past. Once won a most valuable player award in the ALCS. And he starts it with a base hit to right. They ought to call that Cain's Alley over there, because that's where his hits go mostly.
Yep. Yeah, he'd love to use that part of the field with 2 strikes. That big hole between 1st and 2nd. Let's check out our Pizza Ranch for the win. got to be ready to hit with Zimmerman out there. He doesn't walk anybody. Averaging less than 2 walks per 9 innings throughout his career. He's only got 24 walks this year. And young hitters against Zach Davies, you like the matchup.
What a scene for Christian Yelich. Announced for his first at-bat, a standing ovation and chance of MVP. What a road trip he had. The Brewers go 5-1 on the road trip. Yelich drove in 11 runs in 6 games. 6 RBIs in a single game. And Yelich sends it high in the air, right center field. And it is gone. Christian Yelich with a 2-run blast. And right away, the Brewers put the tallies on the board. What we are watching here is pure greatness.
And a second half that he's putting together unlike most of us have ever seen before. Incredible work from Christian Yelich. Yet another big moment here at Miller Park. And the Brewers are right back in it.
Yeah. An electrifying moment at Miller Park.
What can you say about Christian Yelich that hasn't already been said? Over and over and again. Amazing.
Goosebumps.
Yeah. Yep.
And he's doing it in front of his brother, which we're going to talk more about. We didn't even have time to tell you that side story, which is tremendous. His brother is here. Honorable discharge from the United States Marine Corps. Threw out the first pitch. Sophia's got more on that. And to hit a home run in his first at bat. First time his brother has had a chance to see him in person. Legendary performance in 2018, and it's ongoing.
This never seems to really surprise you anymore, does he? Every time the Brewers need a big hit, it's usually Christian Yelich.
There's a called strike 3.
That ball on the inside, off the inside corner. Aguilar knew it. Alfonso Marquez, the home plate umpire. That wasn't a strike.
Jesus Aguilar, in his loving way, making sure he gets his point across.
That ball clearly off the plate.
First out of the game for Jordan Zimmerman. And that'll bring up Travis Shaw now.
You know, Yelich just hits a big, got some big hits late in games, but right there, that home run, that was huge. Getting 2 runs right back after a 3-run first for the Tigers.
Yeah, before there is an out, Shaw gets jammed. A fly ball into right field. Back is Castro. Look how far back in the grass he is. And the second out. 2 gone in the inning. Yeah, you're right. Changes the complexion of the game. The Brewers are the team with all the pressure on them right now. Cubs have already won. Division title is up for grabs. And to go down 3-0 the way they did, to get it back before there is an out, at least 2 of them back. And monumental.
Yeah.
Now you can settle in and play the game as you normally would. Ryan Braun now with 2 away. He has been revitalized by this pennant race. He had 3 big home runs in St. Louis, hit 2 of those in 1 game. Now has 18 home runs for the year with 59 RBIs.
Rang saying before the first game in St. Louis that it's the best he's felt all year. Latter part of September, physically.
And Braun sends one deep left center. Are you kidding? We're tied already. A 3 spot in the bottom of the first inning. And Ryan Braun with number 19.
Yep, they've come to play, partner. They've come to play. They're not satisfied with a wild card.
And what we're looking at there with number 8 is vintage Ryan Braun. The way he has swung the bat in the last week and a half.
Yeah.
He's back. He is at MVP level once again. What we saw all those years.
Making big contact even on outs.
Mike Moustakas. Ball and a strike on Moustakas, sitting on 28 home runs for the year. 8 of those coming as a Brewer, and he rolls over 1 out to Castro. And that is the final out of the first. My goodness, what a team. A 3-spot in the first inning for the Tigers, and the Brewers come right back. The MVP of 2018. He launches a 2-run blast. And then the former MVP of 2011 on an 0-2 pitch ties it up. 3-3 to the second inning. Zach Davies back to work, and the Brewers with a 3-spot to answer. We're all tied as we go to the second inning. Christian Yelich hits number 34. Ryan Braun hits number 19. And Jordan Zimmerman leads off, the Tiger pitcher. 9-1-2 coming up.
Talk about a do-over for Zach Davies, right? Well, he's got to feel good.
Again, if you're just picking up the game here, Davies did give up 3 runs on 5 hits, but it was a bunch of little tappers and flares, and wasn't much to it. Not a lot of exit velocity.
And just the opposite for the Brewers.
Davies with a strikeout of Zimmerman, his second. Yeah, you go from the pop guns of the first inning to the big cannons in the bottom of the first of Yelich and Braun. How about Ryan Braun's home run on an 0-2 pitch?
Yeah, no kidding, a bomb over the Brewers bullpen.
So 1 away, back to the top of the order now, and Jeimer Candelario. Candelario hit one back up the middle in the first. He hit Davies, kind of grazed him. And ended up in the glove of Arcia. Davies has him 0-2. Some of the smoke from the pyro that they launch after home runs still hasn't cleared yet. Gives it a good look inside Miller Park. There's a called strike 3 fastball. A comeback sinker from Zach Davies. An important pitch for him. He's got back-to-back strikeouts in the second.
Yeah, when he has his real good games, I mean, that is an important pitch for him. Starts off the inside corner and comes back to catch the edge with late movement. There you see it running back over the edge of the plate. And Candelario takes it.
2 gone. Here is Harold Castro. Had a little flare single to center field in the first inning. Scored the first run. Davies pouring in the strikes now. Davies with a 30-pitch first inning. And right to Travis Shaw. That's more like it. Hit them where they are, Tigers, not where they ain't. Strikeouts help too. 3 up, 3 down inning. 12-pitch inning for Davies.
In part thanks to Christian Yelich's 2-run home run in his first at-bat coming on the first pitch. It was another MVP moment, and it's coming on a special night for the Yelich family as Christian's youngest brother, Cameron, just completed a 4-year commitment with the United States Marine Corps. He was recently honorably discharged, and he's here seeing Christian play for the very first time since 2016 at Dodger Stadium. And as you see, it was a really cool moment before the game as Sergeant Cameron Yelich came out to throw out the first pitch to Christian. And Christian was obviously very proud of Cameron for completing his service. He said, you know, it was a selfless 4 years of service for him. He gained a lot of experience, and he said more than anything, he came away with an understanding of what military families go through, the schedule, how grueling it is, and obviously the sacrifice that it takes to complete that. So Sergeant Cameron Yelich served in Japan, Korea, the Philippines, and also trained in Hawaii. So congratulations to him and the Yelich family. That's a tremendous moment before the game. And Rock, you can speak to this as well as anyone with your son and son-in-law both serving our country overseas on tours of duty, and what a great moment to see before the game here with that ceremonial first pitch.
Yeah, just enough to see, you know, your loved one that is done with that tour. But yeah, great moment here at Miller Park, and we honor all those that serve and the families that support, You know, the military, it could be tough. I'm sure Christian feels a lot better knowing his brother's right next to him now.
No question. Hits a home run for him in his first at bat. Jordan Zimmermann back to work, facing Eric Kratz to start it. 3-3 game. Been a wild one to start. Tigers get 3 runs on 5 hits in the first. Brewers get 3 runs on 3 hits in the bottom half. Kratz takes a strike, and it's 3-2.
That's about as much emotion as you'll see from Kratz, too. Reaching back, he's looking back and saying, "You sure that was a strike?" Alfonso Marquez not making any friends with the hitters.
Kratz in the air, right center. Sounded a little off the end of the bat, and there to make the catch is Jones. Out number 1. Speedy Tigers center fielder, Jacoby Jones.
It's a pretty good size young men out there in that Tigers lineup out there.
They got some
pretty big boys, right?
Long and lean. They got a lot of speed.
Yeah.
They've got a rebuild underway. They're hoping they can do what the Brewers did. They're trying to model a little bit of what Milwaukee has been able to do and expedite their rebuild. Here's Arcia now. Takes a strike.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that, right? I mean, teams saying they're in a rebuild, and all of a sudden, a couple years later, they're right back in it. Doesn't take long these days.
Arcia, a little jam shot. That's going to fall. Base hit. So the Brewers get one of those flares. And Arcia, who has continued to hit well here in the month of September.
Yeah, velocity down over the years for Jordan Zimmermann, but still very effective. He's coming inside, left it out over the plate a little bit. Yeah, cruising speed for Zimmermann these days about 91. Used to be about 94.
He was one of the game's elite at one point. Probably won't get back to that level as far as stuff goes, but still a very capable pitcher.
Got a real good slider to go with the fastball. He'll throw a curveball to lefties.
First time he's faced the Brewers since 2015. Zimmermann is making his 8th start against Milwaukee. A 5-1 record, an ERA just over 4. Left the Nationals, signed a big free agent deal with Detroit. This is year 3 for him in Detroit. Probably never imagined with the kind of talent they had that they'd be into a rebuild this fast. You go to a team that has Victor Martinez and Miguel Cabrera, you're not thinking about a potential 90-loss team, but that's the way it has happened here in Detroit for Zimmermann, and he's been part of that. You know, he's had his injury moments, he's had his struggles.
Yeah, last time out was pretty good, but 2 starts in a row before that, not real good. Ups and downs this year.
Davies trying to get a bunt down, does so. Good one. And Zimmermann will make the play for the out. Sacrifice for Zach Davies, advancing Arcia to second. 4th sacrifice of the year for Davies. Always handles the bat well.
Hey, Fan Appreciation Weekend continues here at the ballpark through the rest of the weekend. With games tomorrow and Sunday, the first 20,000 fans in attendance for every game against these Tigers. We'll get a scratch-off card featuring the chance to win tickets and other great prizes. Come on out and join us tomorrow and Sunday.
Back to the top of the order now with a runner in scoring position. Here is Lorenzo Cain. Cain with a single his first time up, set the table for Christian Yelich.
Yeah, that Tiger outfield plays deep. It's about as deep as we've seen an outfield play, particularly in center and left.
Now remember the old Ron Gardenhire twins, right?
Yeah.
Would always stick the outfielders as deep as possible. Try to cut off the extra base hit, slugging percentage.
I mean, it's going to be almost impossible, anything to center or to left, for anybody to throw out Arcia on a base hit. They're so deep.
I never know why teams play Cain deep, especially in right field. I mean, how many hits does he have that dump into short right field?
Yeah, a lot.
He takes a strike. Didn't like that call. That looked like a good pitch from Zimmerman.
Yep, on the inside corner.
Kane's not worried about homers. He's not worried about RBIs. All he wants to do is get on base for the likes of Yelich and Aguilar and others. And you got a couple of guys who hit behind Kane that have driven in over 100 runs.
Ideal table setter. On base percentage over 400. That's what it's all about for Lorenzo.
Lorenzo Cain has enough pop to be a 15-20 home run guy every year. He's going to take his on base down, his batting average. And those guys who hit behind him remind us every day how thankful they are to have a guy like Cain setting the table up ahead. And did he lay off? He did. Able to check his swing. First base umpire DJ Rayburn.
Yep, good 2-strike hitter. He takes his walks. He's a terrific base runner and base stealer.
It's not that he just gets on. He creates scoring opportunities when he does. He's got 30 steals. Goes first to third as well as anybody. Almost a guarantee score from first on a ball in a gap or down a line. 2-2 with RC at second. Cain takes a ball and it's 3-2.
He doesn't chase too often. Well, he knows he's going to get something to hit here. I would imagine Zimmerman not too interested in having to face Yelich with a couple of men on.
Full count, 2 outs in a 3-3 game in the second inning. And Cain pops it up, foul grounds. And that'll head in the seats. Cain had a nice trip. He had 7 hits on the road trip in 6 games. Was 7 for 19 on the road trip. Signed a 4-year deal this offseason. Chance to make it a 5-year deal if the contract runs all the way through. With some options there. 2022 is what he has signed through.
Yeah, with Cain and Yelich locked up for a few years, the Brewers have a chance to be good for a while now. So it's certainly not a one and done. They have great prospects going forward. And they've got some talent down in the minor leagues.
Yeah, we saw 2 of those pieces here today, honoring the minor league player and pitcher of the year. Corey Ray and Zach Brown both were in Biloxi this season in the Southern League. Cain, a hot shot, going to be backhanded by Castro, and that will retire the side. Brewers leave a runner at second. 3-3 game. We head to the 3rd inning. Tigers are coming up.
here at Miller Park. We're going to keep track of what's going on as far as the National League pennant chase. Our T-Mobile built for baseball. This afternoon at Wrigley, the Cubs and Cards, and the Cubs coming to hit some home runs. It's Chris Bryant with the home run. He's missed the last couple of days, but goes long here this afternoon. And then Albert Elmora Jr. with the 2 RBI single to right. So they win 8-4 over the Cardinals right now, extending their lead to a game-and-a-half. Brewers are going to have to win this one to stay within a game if they want to keep track in the division right now. And it's interesting because the Dodgers rooting for the Cardinals at this point, and I should say the Cubs and the Brewers rooting for the Cardinals. But guys, the Cardinals this week not showing many signs of life, to be sure.
Yeah, it's been a rough go for St. Louis. There's a fly ball to center, and Locane runs it down. Castellanos lines out, and Lorenzo Cain got a great jump and able to fetch that one in the gap for out number 1.
Yeah, well, the Brewers came into this series knowing that they're going to have to win out if they hope to, force at least a play-in game for the division on Monday against the Cubs at Wrigley. So that the Brewers just have to take care of their own house. Greg Calhoun has been saying that for a month now. All we have to do is win. We can't be concerned about what other teams are doing. Of course, it'd be nice for the Cardinals to give the Brewers some help out there at Wrigley Field.
Brewers a game back right now, a game and a half, but a win tonight would have them a game back with 2 to go. Still very likely that it could end up in a tie for the division, which would then require a tiebreaker game on Monday. Major League Baseball has released some details on that particular scenario. All depends if the Rockies and the Dodgers have to play a tiebreaker game for their division as well. But if there's just one game, then it'll be a 3 p.m. Central Time start Monday at Wrigley Field to determine the division winner. The winner of that game, if it ends up in that scenario, would then win the division and get the bye into the division series round. They wouldn't play again until Thursday. The loser of that game Monday, the tiebreaker game, would have to play the next day in the wild card game. So that's a very different path to get to a division series. And of course you want to win a division if you can, but that would be the scenario. Now if there are 2 games, if the Rockies and Dodgers play one and the Brewers and Cubs have to play a game 163, the Brewers and Cubs would play at noon Central on Monday. It's a pop up, and Arce overran it, able to cut back and make the play in foul territory. Nico Goodrum is retired for out number 2.
So if you're the Brewers and you're sitting here, and the folks up in the club level up there, they're trying to plan out and prepare for an opponent. I mean, the Brewers could essentially be playing 3 different teams starting on Monday.
That's right.
Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday it could be the Dodgers or the Rockies. Monday it could be the Cubs. It's insane. I mean, the possibilities. So those guys up there in the analytics and the scouting department are going crazy right now.
You could have a Sunday matchup, regular season against the Tigers, Monday Cubs, Tuesday Dodgers or Rockies. And of course the Brewers would hope to, if they did play that game Monday, that they would win that game, and then you'd get a couple of days off to prepare for the wild card winner. And by the way, if that scenario played out where the Brewers did win the the tiebreaker game Monday, the Cubs would then host the wild card game on Tuesday. So travel's pretty easy in that scenario for everybody. As Adduci pops this one up, and that's going to be another quick inning for Zach Davies, just in time to give you all the potential playoff scenarios. We head to the bottom of the third inning, all tied at 3. Every time his name is called, he gets a big ovation. How about this moment? Brewers down 3-0. Yelich, second batter for the Brewers, launched one out of here, 416 feet. Right away, the Brewers get right back in. Powerball home run number 34 for Yelich, gives him 106 RBIs. He is now the National League leader in total bases. And Yelich will lead off. It'll be Yelich, Aguilar, and Shaw as we play in the third inning. Jordan Zimmerman back on the mound for the Tigers.
I'm good.
Mark Atanasio joining us here in the booth, which is no easy task with a blown Achilles. Playing hurt. Owner playing hurt today. How you doing? How you holding up?
A lot of support from Debbie
here. Hi, Debbie.
Check
I
this
didn't
out.
even see you.
That's quite the contraption you got there.
We should be interviewing her. She's had to do all the work, I bet. You okay? How's
Yeah, I'm good.
How's the rehab coming along?
It actually officially starts this week, and looking forward to starting here since we're in the playoffs.
Cast is off, boot is on. That's a good sign.
Yeah,
Right?
it's moving in the right direction.
The hell as you travel.
Is there a good story behind that injury?
No, there's
killer crossover or
yeah, no.
skiing the blacks, jumping off a bridge.
No, I did that 2 summers ago, and I decided I was getting too old for that in Italy. So no, this was everything's good. Our dog Charlie, who people know, is she attacked by another dog on the beach, and Deb was with Charlie, and I went running. And since I blew my Achilles out as I ran, I had to rely on Debbie kicking a pit bull like 10 times to.
Wow.
Which she did.
Nice, Debbie.
So you saved everybody, Debbie. Right?
As usual, she saves the day. Well,
She's tough.
I know you don't want to come up here and talk about your Achilles because there's been a lot going on since we last saw you.
Yeah, and I was texting with Craig Counsell when we were in St. Louis, and God, I wish I was there. But you know what? Things are going pretty well without me there, right?
Rock said we're counting corks, so hopefully there's 3 more corks for you to count and enjoy.
We're hoping that we'll get to enjoy.
Keep stacking them up as the series goes down. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Here's Jesus Aguilar now after the Yelich walk, and a shot through, base hit. Aguilar with a single, and it's first and second. Well, I know it's a long trek up here, especially in a boot, but give us your sense of what has transpired here, this rebuild that was expedited last year. I know you guys stayed away from the word rebuild, but the time has arrived, and back to the postseason we go.
Oh, it's so great. I want to thank Roger Kaplinger for helping me get through this surgery and providing a really fast go-kart to get up here. But look, David came in at end of 2015. It really started 2016. We had one tough year, and it's been straight up since then. So he's just done an awesome job.
Seems like your team is playing its best baseball right at the time where they really needed to. They have the best record in the National League in September. Things seem to be coming together nicely going into the postseason.
It's always interesting how mathematically every win counts the same, but teams that get hot at the end of the year tend to have good things happen.
Well, Brewers have had their fair share of September nightmares, so it's doubly nice to have a great September and to be able to secure that postseason berth in St. Louis. Last year in St. Louis is where the season essentially ended.
I was there for that.
Yeah.
So that's now 2 data points.
Yeah.
I was there, we got eliminated, wasn't there, we won. So
good thing you didn't show up this year.
I'm saying, right? I told Counts, it's going fine without me. It's all good.
Mark Atanasio joining us, Brewers owner, and see this packed house at Miller Park. Going to be that way for every game that is played here the rest of the way.
Yeah, we know you have been watching, and you got to be patient. There's 2 acquisitions that you got in January. It might be a little shaky now, but down the road I think they'll work out. I mean, those 2 guys have been unbelievable this year.
Yeah, and what a tandem, and we play off each other, and it's such a privilege to watch them at the top of the order every night. And I want to just mention, and I said in an interview in the media room today, David Stearns, if he's not the executive of the year, I mean, really, you look at all the reviews of those acquisitions then, a lot more criticism than praise. What is he doing? How many outfielders do they need? They need pitching.
Right.
And, you know, take a look.
Well, we second that. And you might have a manager of the year sitting in that dugout as well.
Yeah, and that's
and an MVP.
that's for damn sure.
And you've got a lot of players that have performed higher than expectations, and I think expectations were pretty high to start with. Travis Shaw rolls one foul. So then that leads us to, and you would certainly understand this better than anyone because you are the leader, you are in charge, but the culture building that you and David and Craig have all put together, and it's kind of come to that point where you start looking at the culture of the clubhouse, the locker room, the front office, the way it all works, and then the comments of Christian Yelich in the Players Tribune. Couldn't have had a better endorsement from a player than that.
No, and couldn't have a player who is, you know, I mean, what player talking about himself wants to start out by talking about his teammate who makes him better. You know, Christian, for people who didn't see in the Players Tribune, talked about Lorenzo Cain. That's how his article started. And look, I think all that starts with Craig in the clubhouse, and he's been preaching to this group of players, which has now grown up and been filled around with veterans, how to, you know, they have to really look out for each other like a family. And this year, it's come together.
I have a question about assembling a roster. When it gets to you, how far down the list of questions that you're asking about, you know, what kind of talent is he, what are his skills, how far down the list does a player's character come into it, what kind of teammate he is? Where does that sit?
I think that sits pretty high. I think David, you know, if someone doesn't have a high character, I don't think they're really even in the discussion. And, you know, one of the challenges, you can take a number of high character players, you don't know how they're going to come together as a unit. And that's why I give Craig and the coaches a lot of praise for, you know, keeping this group together, keeping them loose and focused at the same time. Those two things can be at odds, right?
You know, and then you have guys like Eric Kratz who kind of, you know, fit into the culture, and, you know, he gets a lot of credit for keeping these guys loose in the clubhouse, and these guys seem as though all season long, particularly in September, they come to play every single day.
Rock, you're a catcher, so you know. I mean, you really need, you know, two guys back there. You know, Manny Pena did a great job that last year, and some injury challenges this year. So we were short, and Eric stepped in and stepped up. And you know, having those two guys as a tandem, Eric and Manny, has really helped us. Listen, everybody, you could point to every part of the field, and guys are contributing to what's going on here.
Well, one guy that's been very interesting to watch here in this final month and down the stretch is Ryan Braun, who sends one to center field. It is deep, but not deep enough. Jones will make the catch. Yelich will tag. Braun just missed it on the bat. So that'll be the second out. First and third now for the Brewers. Watching Ryan Braun here in these last couple of weeks, Mark, and I said this earlier, it reminds me of vintage Braun in his MVP days when he was one of the elite players in the game. He's kind of got it back here.
Ryan is his whole career he has risen to the occasion, and seems like the bigger the game, the better he plays. You know, they say in St. Louis, those games in St. Louis were critical, and he hit 2 home runs. He said it's the 31st time in his career he hit more than. It's unbelievable, right?
He's got 4 home runs in 4 games now. Yeah, I mean, he's back.
Mike Moustakas now with 2 outs, first and third for the Brewers.
Your thoughts about what you see, you know, the fans once again this year coming out in droves. I mean, we go around the league, and you've been to different ballparks where attendances aren't that great. We're very fortunate to have our fan base here.
Yeah, and this year we're over 2.8 million. That puts us 10th in baseball, 3rd biggest increase. But, you know, more importantly, 11 out of the last 12 seasons, 11 out of 12, we've drawn over 2.5 million fans. That's unbelievable for, you know, a community like this. And these fans love their team. They support the team. And, you know, everybody says they got the best fans in baseball, but I kind of feel like we do.
No question. Look at that scene at Miller Park. Get used to it. And a great place to play. Players talk about it all the time, how energized they are playing here. Mustakas, a little flare. They play deep. That's got a chance. That is going to fall. Base hit. Yelich scores. Throw to third, and Aguilar is out. And the inning will end at third base. Well done, owner. You delivered a run.
Trying to do my job here.
You got us the lead.
Trying to do what I can.
It may take you a while to get back to your seat, but it's always a pleasure to see
it's
you.
awesome, and thanks for the great broadcast, guys. Really great season. Really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Watched a lot of you and listened to a lot of you the last couple weeks, and A+.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. I think we can come back. Mark Atanasio has been our guest, and Debbie, she's got the hard task now of taking him elsewhere. It's inning, a 3-run bottom of the first. Homers from Yelich and Braun, and then a base hit by Moustakas gives Milwaukee the lead. Now Zach Davies has completely turned the tables, and he's got a couple of tight innings as we start the fourth. Davies has retired 8 straight. He will face James McCann to start it. 6, 7, and 8 in the Tigers batting order. McCann had an RBI single on a 2-strike pitch in the first inning that capped off a 3-run inning. And that one with the shift on right to Shaw. Nice easy hop. And there is out number 1.
And that's more like it now. A few atom balls. Yeah, that first inning, a nightmare for Davies. Everything they hit, finding a hole, dumping it into the outfield, but not now. Davies kind of settling in with his command, too.
Good to have Mark Atanasio up here. I know it's been tough for him with that Achilles injury, had surgery, and he hasn't been able to be with the ball club, but he's been watching every day and happy for him. You could see the joy in his face.
You know he wanted to be in St. Louis.
It's about as competitive of an owner as there is. I mean, I've been around a lot of owners. A lot of owners are kind of separate, you know, they're kind of off to the side, and then they show up every now and then. Mark is in it. I mean, he's all in. Good to see him. By the way, the ticket situation, I was talking to Mark. He's thrilled that this is a sellout. There's going to be sellouts throughout the playoffs, but there are tickets available. But we are encouraging you to purchase a season ticket plan for 2019. That guarantees you tickets for the postseason this season. Otherwise, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's going to be another great season next year. We talked about why. I mean, you got Kane and Yelich back. They're going to be around a while. You got some young prospects coming up. Guys have been involved already in this organization. And what's holding you back?
Let's go to Brewers.com. You can find out all information there. There's going to be some standing room available. There's a bouncer to Arcia. Jones, who runs well, is out, and there is out number 2. So there are tickets available. They're going to release a few as we get closer to the actual game date, which we don't know when that will be. But again, just can't reiterate enough. We want you here next year. And the best thing to do is to purchase a season ticket plan for next season, and then you'll have a chance to be here for the postseason. But tickets are flying right now, as you can imagine. It's going to be 45,000 plus in here every game in this postseason. It was that way in 08. It was that way in 2011. And it'll be that way again this year.
Yep, as Mark said, everybody says it, but we believe it. Best fans in baseball. Yep.
And not coming to you as a ticket seller right now. I'm coming to you because we want you in the ballpark to experience this.
Yeah, Christian said it, in the article. It makes a difference.
Yeah.
And because of the fan support, the Brewers are doing what they're doing this year.
3 balls, no strikes, with 2 men out on Victor Reyes, and there is strike 1. Reyes grounded to first his first time up, and a swing and a foul right into the catcher Kratz. 3-2. Yikes, into the Tiger dugout. Went right over the head of the coaches and to the back wall. Hopefully everybody's all right. Full count again. And Davies will have another offering for Victor Reyes. Gave up 3 runs on 5 hits. Seeing eye hits, little flares. A bad luck inning for Davies, but he hung in there. Now he's retired 10 in a row. Davies was actually pitching in the first inning with Brandon Woodruff warming up in the bullpen in the first.
Yeah, but he really wasn't throwing poorly, was he? He was throwing well.
You can just go check the exit velocity on those batted balls to validate that. 30 pitch first inning, has been extremely efficient since. And the 3-2 pop foul.
These guys put the ball in play, don't they? I mean, the Tigers, I mean, they fought off some tough pitches in the first inning. Ended up finding some holes. Davies got 3 strikeouts. But they're making him work.
This will be the 10th pitch of the at bat on Reyes. And he'll have at least 11. Say hello to Roger and Jackie Kaplinger, who made it to the booth. You heard Mark mention Roger heads up the medical team here with the Brewers, and he's able to help the owner through that.
And his doctor, Dr. Evans, was up here and hard at work trying to cure pancreas cancer.
And Roger is in that battle right now, and it's been inspiring to watch him and his family take on that disease. And good to see Roger here at the ballpark tonight. Another 3-2 and another foul ball. Think about the Brewers making the playoffs as well, and you think about employees like Barb Stark, who's been here from day 1. Maybe it was day 2, but it was the first year of the franchise, 1970.
Yep, incredible.
What a career for Barb Stark. 13th pitch of the at bat. Finally one in play. Aguilar ranges over, hits Davies on the move perfectly. 11 straight retired by Zach Davies. Bottom of the 4th coming up. Brewers lead. Wisconsin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. By Ascension, coming together to give healthcare a better name. We are Ascension. And by Wisconsin Dells, the water park capital of the world. One moment after another this year for Christian Yelich, and had a big one in the first inning. 2-run home run, got the Brewers right back in it. We head to the bottom of the fourth. Don't forget, tomorrow on Fox, it is the Cardinals and the Cubs at 11:30 a.m. And then tomorrow night, Brewers Tigers on FS1. You can check it out on the Fox Sports app as well. So we got the day game on Fox, the night game on FS1, Brewers Tigers.
Feels kind of strange to finish with the American League this year. 3 here at Miller Park against the Tigers.
Yeah, with 5 in the division, the merry-go-round has 1 team playing an interleague ball. Pirates and Cincinnati in this final weekend, and of course the rivalry between the Cardinals and the Cubs.
Got to get the Cardinals to win one of those games.
So be careful who you root for kind of weekend, isn't it? 1 ball, 1 strike on Eric Kratz. Starts the 4th inning.
I'm thinking it's pretty safe to root for the Cardinals in the next couple of days. Get the Brewers a chance to win that division.
That'd be the only chance they have. The Cardinals losing today. Miles Michaelis on the mound tomorrow for St. Louis against Cole Hamels. Great pitching matchup. That's hit high and deep to right. Back on it, Castellanos, and with room, he makes a catch. A couple of long fly ball outs in this game, Braun and Kratz.
Just missed it a little bit, got under it. These Tiger outfielders, they don't have to go too far to get back to the fence. They are way back.
Here is Orlando Arcia now,
which helped the Brewers last inning. And Moustakas base hit.
That RBI for Moustakas giving the Brewers the lead. His 94th RBI of the year, combining his numbers between the Brewers and the Royals. Brewers could have 3 players in their lineup with 100 RBIs this season. Yelich and Aguilar have already achieved that number. Matter of fact, Yelich just leapfrogged Aguilar for the team high in RBIs. Tyler Saladino is due to hit next after Davies goes 4.
Yep, retired 11 straight. This is what Craig Counsell's been doing pretty much the entire month of September. Short starts and get into that bullpen.
3rd time through the batting order. Pretty much an automatic pull unless there's a big lead. Arcia down the left field line. That is going to fall. Base hit. Goes to the wall. Arcia to second base. It's a double. A 1-out double for Orlando Arcia.
They're probably going to pull Saladino back now with a man in scoring position. Orlando's starting to swing the bat much better. The hits have been more consistent. Staying on the breaking ball this time. Yeah, curve ball that was middle in. Waited back long enough and hooked it out there into left field. Stayed on it.
And with a runner in scoring position, Craig Counsell will bring on Domingo Santana and not Saladino. Saladino more the table setter, a guy to get on base. Santana has had the heavy lumber here in the month of September as a pinch hitter this year. He is 10 for 26, including 2 home runs that came in back-to-back games as a pinch hitter. He's up there with 1 out.
Well, he's a guy that also will draw his walks as well. Very patient at the plate.
Takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Santana, part of the group of September call-ups, but by no means the level of a typical September call-up, a minor league player getting a chance in the big leagues. He's more than that. 30 homer season last year in the big leagues with the Brewers. With the additions of Kane and Yelich, put outfielders like Brett Phillips, and Domingo Santana, Keon Broxton, all in AAA together, creating incredible depth. The Brewers actually traded Phillips as part of that depth to get Moustakas. But Broxton and Santana, the way they have performed, have a great chance to be on a postseason roster.
Yes, they can. Particularly Keon Broxton. He can do so many things for you. Defense, pinch run, and we'll see how it all works out. Great counsel. I would imagine it has a lot to do with who they're going to be playing.
Here's a 2-2. Santana takes a ball.
Tough pitch to take right there. Slider just missed the bottom of the zone. It was down the middle of the plate.
Santana has appeared in 20 games. This will be 21 games since coming back from AAA. His 19th as a pinch hitter, and he's 6 for 15 with 2 homers. And that one's in this left center base hit. Arcia around third. He will head home. It's an RBI single for Domingo Santana. 5-3 Brewers.
Yeah, good job, Craig Counsell. Pulling back Saladino, bringing up Domingo, and he cashes it in again. Boy, something else coming off the bench. Well, it's nice when you have your 8-9 spots in the batting order producing runs. Arcia getting on base. Yeah, the slider kind of stayed down the middle of the plate, but look at Santana. He bends the knees, he levels out that swing. Got it on the end of the bat and able to drive in another run. Yeah, 5-3 Brewers.
Easy score for Arcia. 5 unanswered runs for Milwaukee. Still just 1 out. Top of the order now, Lorenzo Cain. Check the bottom of that batting order tonight, Rock.
Yeah.
8 and 9 spots. 3 for 3 with a sacrifice.
Yeah. Just such a shot in the arm for the Brewers offense when Orlando Arcia in that number 8 spot can get on base. And he's been doing a better job of that lately.
He's 2 for 2 tonight, single and a double.
And because of that, he's playing a lot. He's been playing just about every day, and you need his defense out there at shortstop. That play made in St. Louis on that little chopper up the middle. I mean, not many guys going to make that play. He has to hit, though, to stay in the lineup.
And he has hit in the month of September. 1 ball, 1 strike. Go to first to check on Santana, who can run.
And now the battle's on. I mean, right now for Zimmerman, now that Lorenzo Cain has 2 strikes.
Brewers have done some 2-strike damage, including the Ryan Braun home run, which was on an 0-2 pitch. I would love to hear the internal dialogue that Lorenzo Cain has with himself. He keeps himself calm. That slow heartbeat.
Yep.
Never looks like he's rushed, or never looks like the moment's too big for him. A swing and a foul tip right into the middle of the catcher. Down he goes. Strikeout for Zimmerman.
Well, when you've been in the big moments as many times as Lorenzo has, that's valuable experience, and that's how you can slow things down.
That'll bring up Christian Yelich now with 2 away. He's been on twice, 2-run homer and a walk. And your best players need a finishing kick. Yelich in his last 33 at-bats, 16 hits, 4 home runs, and in those 33 at-bats, not games, at-bats, 17 runs batted in.
Cardinals didn't pitch to him last night, or 2 nights ago. 5 walks to Yelich. They refused to allow Yelich to beat him. 5 walks on Wednesday. He's already got a walk tonight.
Been on twice. 84th occasion Christian Yelich has reached base safely at least twice in a game. That's 9th most in the majors. Alex Bregman is the major league leader in that category, reaching base 2 or more times in a game. He's got 89 occasions. It's a who's who on that list, by the way, including Yelich, Bregman, Trout, Jose Ramirez, MVP candidate, JD Martinez, MVP candidate. Freddie Freeman is on the list. Lindor, Paul Goldschmidt.
Right.
And you know who's behind Yelich? The likely MVP of the American League, Mookie Betts.
106 RBIs out of the number 2 spot in the batting order. Now think about that in the National League. You got your 8 hitter and the pitcher, and then your leadoff hitter. Much more difficult.
3 balls and a strike, and it's outside. He's on again. His 3rd time on base, 2nd walk.
I wouldn't pitch to him either.
He's turning into Barry Bonds, isn't he?
I mean, why would you? Problem is, you got Aguilar behind him. He's no slouch.
Got a visit to the mound. Rick Anderson is the Tigers pitching coach. Jordan Zimmerman with a pitch count of 80. He's given up 5 runs on 8 hits. And how do you pitch Jesus Aguilar?
Yeah, a lot of teams are pitching him inside, in off the plate.
He turned on one his last time up. Had a single to left field.
You pitch good hitters inside.
He's at the top of the Powerball home run leaderboard, now tied with Yelich. 34 home runs apiece for those two. 3 players who have hit 30. You got Moustakas with a chance with 2 more home runs to join that group in the final 3 games of the year. Brewers trying to keep it going here. They lead 5-3, 5 unanswered runs they have scored. Fell behind 3-0 before Davies recorded the 2nd out in the 1st inning, and then didn't give up a base runner after that. Davies finished his day today, retiring the last 11 batters faced. 4 innings, 3 runs on 5 hits. Ball, 1 strike on Aguilar. Zimmerman is a strike throwing machine. He has averaged since the 2009 season, averaged less than 2 walks per 9 innings, 1.91. That's among the best among active pitchers.
Yep, only 24 walks this year to go along with 107 strikeouts coming into the game tonight.
Making his 5th career start at Miller Park. 8th against the Brewers overall. Phenomenal years with the Nationals. Hasn't faced the Brewers in 3 years. On this date, 4 years ago, he threw a no-hitter for the Nationals. 2-2 pitch, and that's in there. Called strike 3. Aguilar not pleased with the call. He's rung up again. Looks like the same pitch that rung him up in the first inning, and the side is retired. Now the Brewers get one though. Pinch hitter Domingo Santana with an RBI single, and the Brewers have a 5-3 lead. Lead over the Tigers. We head to the 5th inning, and a reminder, you can join Fox Sports Wisconsin as we inspire girls to be healthy and confident at the Girls on the Run of Southeastern Wisconsin Fall 5K. It's presented by the Brewers Community Foundation, and it happens Sunday, November 18th at Miller Park. To register, visit Girls on the Run southeasternwi.org/5K. Screenshot that, be easier. Brandon Woodruff will take over for Zach Davies. You got your starting pitcher and then your assistant starting pitcher, or as Craig Counsell calls them, outgetters. And you had the initial outgetter of Davies, who goes 4 innings. And now Woodruff on in the 5th with a 5-3 lead. He'll face a pinch hitter, Jared Saltalamacchia.
Yeah, one of those guys that has really opened up some eyes this year. Woodruff's been outstanding coming into spots just like this. Short start. Bring him in. Last pitched on Tuesday against the Cardinals. Had a 3-up, 3-down inning that included a couple of strikeouts.
And you ask Craig Counsell, why would you take a starting pitcher out with a lead against the Tigers, a 95-loss team? His answer is a quick one, because I asked him that same question earlier this month when this process started. He said, we have a ton of capable relievers, and I would rather have a pitcher throwing 96, 97 miles an hour as we get to the 3rd time through the batting order than the starter. Plus, we're headed to the postseason, and I want my starters fresh and ready to go. And
plus, you throw a pinch hitter up there like Santana driving a run.
There's a strikeout. Woodruff gives him the gas, and a punch out to start his night. Bullpen's been tremendous, and they are in the BP Brighter Picture spotlight tonight. Lowest bullpen ERA in September, 1.98 ERA for the Brewers.
Yeah.
Brewers bullpen has a 3.52 ERA this season, which is 5th best, but it has been lights out, and they have been logging a lot of innings, but a lot of different pitchers logging these innings.
15 guys down there.
Doesn't feel like any of these pitchers is overworked. There have not been stretches where you're pushing a pitcher beyond his threshold.
There's like Corbin Burns to the left there.
Tell you what, it's been a phenomenal way to do it. I mean, Yelich is getting the headlines, rightly so. But the depth of the pen, the number of talented, hard-throwing pitchers, and then their ability, especially the young guys like Woodruff and Peralta and Corbin Burns, their ability to dominate.
Yep, and the one thing nobody's really talking about, very good defense throughout the month of September. They're not giving it a whole lot of extra outs. That helps the bullpen. Guys have been terrific defensively.
2 balls and a strike. Jeimer Candelario at the plate, and a swing and a foul tip right into the middle cracks. Candelario, a swing and a miss. He struck him out. 97 with a fastball.
Boy, that one had a little bit of life on it as it got in there. That would look like it hit an extra gear as it got to home plate. Just blew it right by him. 97 miles an hour inside. Look out. Good pitch.
Craig Counsell was raving about Brandon Woodruff before the game on Wednesday in St. Louis. Talking about pitchers who might be available on that particular night. Morphed into a more philosophical conversation about how he wants to use these guys, and the emergence of Woodruff here. Little tapper to first base. Aguilar will flip to him, and that's a nice and easy inning. 1-2-3. Brandon Woodruff retires the side in order with a couple of strikeouts.
And we're checking out the playoff races throughout the National League. It's the Nationals at the Rockies, and it's Trey Turner with a 2 RBI triple. And this will put Washington ahead of the Rockies 2-1. That's our score right now in the 5th inning. Colorado's won 7 straight to take over first in the National League West. Dodgers and Giants start in about a half hour out in San Francisco. As you take a look at the updated standings, Brewers with a win here pull within a game of Chicago in the Central.
All right, thanks a lot, Craig, for keeping on that for us. A lot to watch tonight. Scoreboard watching at its premium over this weekend, the final weekend of the regular season. And those are the games we're tracking tonight. Travis Shaw leads off. Shaw, Braun, and Moustakas coming up. Brewers have a 5-3 lead. Jordan Zimmerman goes 4 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs against the Brewers tonight, was staked to a 3-0 lead. The Auburndale native. Blaine Hardy takes over.
They have 2 left-handers down in that bullpen for Detroit. $11 relievers down in the pen. They're kind of short, aren't they? Only 11.
That's
Brewers
right.
have 15.
Most teams are in the 14-15 range. Shaw 0 for 2, looking for his first hit right off the end of the bat. Stays alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tigers went up 3-0 in the first. Brewers got it right back in the bottom of the first. Yelich hit a 2-run homer before there was an out, and then Braun hit a 2-out, 2-strike home run to tie it. And then the Brewers went ahead in the third on a Moustakas RBI single, added to their lead on a Santana RBI single in the fourth. Shaw strikes out for out number 1.
He pulled the string on Travis, had a little screwball action on that. And maybe a change up going down and in on him.
Here comes Ryan Braun. A tying home run in the first on an 0-2 pitch. Look at the numbers on this. StatCast AI powered by AWS.
Yeah, try catching that, Bronny's saying. He's had a lot of those caught this year, the line drives. Hit hard.
Home run number 19 for Braun. Braun's missed 16 games this year, 2 stints on the disabled list. There have been other games when he has not been on the DL, just regular maintenance. It's been a pretty impressive program for Braun. Now it's showing up in a big way here because he's fresh and energized, and he is swinging the bat very well. And what a weapon to have even down in the lineup. I know Craig Counsell's been toying with the notion that you might hit Braun third again and then Aguilar, maybe flip-flop those two. But the way the lineup's set up right now,
it's nice.
It's been productive, very productive.
I think a lot of the time off that Bronny's had, even when he's been healthy this year, particularly late August, early September, is really paying off for the Brewers right now.
That's not easy to sit out either. I mean, you know, when you're not feeling great, you're making a lot of money. He knows his status with this organization, and that's probably the most difficult thing to overcome, when you could probably play and play a little less than. But they've been diligent with this routine, typically not playing day games after night games. And the 2 injuries he has, the big ones, are the back and the thumb, the nerve damage in the thumb. And when he senses those hot spots starting, he usually is quick to shut it down to make sure it doesn't escalate, and you got to give him credit for that.
Well, at that end, the fact that, you know, even when he's been healthy, Craig Counsell has sat him down on occasion, because particularly in the month of September, there's options out there in the outfield. Curtis Granderson has been very productive in the outfield. You got Broxton you can throw out there.
Braun in the right center field. That is going to get into the gap and off the wall. Braun into second base with his second hit.
Another ringing double for Ryan Braun. He is barreling up everything right now. He nearly hit a home run his last time up. Just missed it into center field. Cutter from Hardy. Got too much of the plate, and he rips it. One hops the wall in right center. Another hard hit ball by number 8.
Left the bat 101 miles an hour. Stinging the ball lately. He's among league leaders in well hit average. Braun started then stopped. And the pitch was taken for a ball by Moustakas. That's another sign that shows you he is feeling good. When he's running like that and active on the base paths, you know he is pain-free. Moustakas with a go-ahead RBI in the third. Base hit to center. On the corner, a strike. 1-2 to Moustakas. That little cut fastball from Hardy. Zimmerman 4 innings, 5 runs. Hardy pitching in his first inning. And the Brewers have a chance to add to their lead here. The 1-2 in the air, right center field. Little flare is going to fall. Braun will stop at third. And Mike Moustakas is 2 out of 3 tonight.
And both of the hits because that Tiger outfield plays so deep. There's a lot more base hits fall in front of you than over your head. Ron Gardenhire's always been a guy against the Brewers that plays against or defends slugging percentage, but it's cost him tonight. Right off the end of the bat, because they're playing so deep, no chance to get to that. Ryan Braun not sure, doesn't want to get doubled off. Has to hold up at third base.
He is there with 1 out. Moustakas, his second hit. Runners at the corners for Eric Kratz. Brewers have 10 hits in this game. We're in the 5th inning. Kratz down the line, foul. Hit it like a bullet.
Well, he's come up with some big hits for the Brewers. Looking for some insurance. Kratz nearly hit one out his last time up.
Yeah, long, loud fly ball to center field. Sent Jones back to the wall. Tigers are set up for a double play ball. Hardy gets a lot of those with that cut fastball. That one's in there for a strike, and it's 0-2. Won't take much to get Braun home. He's trying to get one in the air. That's a ground ball. Stays down. Goodrum to Castro and a double play to end the inning. And Hardy does get his ground ball to get out of the 5th. Brewers still up 5-3 as we go to the 6th inning.
winner, Cindy and Mike's trackside in Asherpin. Asherpin, Wisconsin, that's southeast Dodge County, if you were wondering, if you want to head up there sometime.
Off season.
Hey, if they call the Brewers by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a 2019 Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. It's offered courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. You know, we've only got one more Tavern of the game this year. Sunday.
Who's it going to be? How about Bill Schroeder's house? That's the best tavern of the game that the crew always enjoys.
Yeah. Price is right.
Schroeder's palatial estate, the Schroeder Manor.
The Beer Stoop.
Nicholas Castellanos will lead off for Detroit.
You guys are always welcome. I don't even have to be home.
We have stopped by without you being home before. Brandon Woodruff starting his second inning. Woodruff retired the side in order with 2 Ks in the 5th. AAA starter this year. Had some time in the big leagues as well as a starter. Saw him a little bit last year. Just eats up Castellanos with that power sinker. I mean, it is with life and velocity, and Woodruff is a fearless pitcher on the mound too. That's the way all these guys are.
Seems like it's got a little extra gear tonight. A little hop at the end.
Was on the Brewers opening day roster. Started the year as the top prospect in the organization according to Baseball America. He made 17 starts in AAA. 4.04 ERA there, which are actually really good numbers in Colorado Springs. Hitters Park, Hitters League in the PCL. Two the count, and he got him. Another strikeout for Woodruff. It is an embarrassment of riches for the Brewers right now in the pitching department, and you rarely have the ability to say that. You always need more pitching, but Craig Counsell's actually having a tough time providing enough innings for some guys. I mean, you get to the 5th inning with a lead, and for the most part, other than the situational left-handers, you are seeing 96 plus from everyone.
Yeah, with nasty sliders and good change-ups. The Brewers had a bullpen game. The first game in St. Louis used 9 pitchers. Every one of them effective.
Except for Hader that day, right?
Yeah, that's right.
It was the only the best guy out there is the one who struggled. Line shot into center field right at Kane.
Yeah, Josh Hader, one of the few times that he struggled, but he had a nice comeback. His second appearance in St. Louis.
Williams, Knebel, Hader, Corbin Burns, Woodruff, and then Soria. Soria throws 93 to 95 miles an hour. And he's one of the softest throwing right-handers the Brewers have in their bullpen right now.
Yeah, he was jumping it in there against the Cardinals in 95, wasn't he?
He was. Feeling left out.
A couple of days off will do a guy good. And that's the thing about the playoffs. You're going to be getting days off. You're going to be able to rest your guys.
There's no bullpen better stacked than this one going into the postseason. Now, a lot of these pitchers have not been in the postseason before, so there is that element. But that's an easier mountain to climb when you have electric stuff. You can get away with a few mistakes when you're throwing 97. Look at that changeup from Woodruff. Ducey way out in front. At that pitch.
You know, he and Burns are starting to use those other secondary pitches, not just fastball, slider. Change-ups, curveballs. Yep.
Son of a former Brewer here, Jim Adducey. Used to play with his dad, didn't you?
I did.
Had a couple of years with the Brewers, 86 through 89.
Yep, left-handed hitter.
88, I beg your pardon.
And a first baseman outfielder.
1-2 pitch. Roll over. Little grounder out to Aguilar. And Brandon Woodruff. 6 up, 6 down with 3 strikeouts. He's got him on lockdown. 17 in a row retired by Brewers pitchers now.
And once again this season, the Brewers Community Foundation has partnered with players, coaches, wives, alumni, and other team personnel to continue the Beyond the Diamond campaign, a series of community outreach events benefiting the areas of health, education, recreation, and basic needs throughout the greater Milwaukee area.
All right, Sophia, thanks. Here we go to the Brewer half of the 6th inning. See Lorenzo Cain preparing for an at-bat. The Brewers are at the bottom of their order now. Orlando Arcia will lead off, then a pinch hitter, and then Cain. Nico Goodrum will move to first base. And Ronnie Rodriguez is the new shortstop. Goodrum makes the rare shortstop to first base move. Alex Wilson on the mound.
Yeah, pretty good numbers out of the bullpen. Yeah, Tigers are out middle of the pack in the American League as far as bullpen earned run average. This guy's been throwing pretty well. Last pitched on the 25th at Minnesota.
At the plate, presented by Blaze Pizza for Arcia tonight. 2 for 2, double and a run scored. In the 4th, he scored the go-ahead run. I beg your pardon, the insurance run, the 5th run. Right off the end of the bat, right to Alex Wilson for out number 1. Tigers might be trying to get a couple of innings here, multi-inning outing out of Wilson. They've got the double switch in play with the changes. And the right-hander will face Eric Thames now. He's become important at bats for Thames. There's only so many roster spots for the postseason. Thames and Santana, the left-right combo off the bench. Santana's been superb. Thames did have a key triple against St. Louis.
Although Craig Counsell really likes to have the option of having 2 left-handers on his bench, even when he's got most of them in the game. You know, Granderson, Thames available tonight.
One ball, 1 strike on Eric Thames. Tigers had a player with the same spelling of the last name who does television now for the Tigers, Marcus Timms.
Yeah.
A called strike 3. Thames is rung up. And the second out of the inning.
Hey, MLB At Bat is your #1 app to follow the crew in the postseason. With At Bat, you get breaking news, live radio broadcast, the MLB.TV game of the day, and lineup updates sent right to your fingertips. Download the app today, free for your smartphone or tablet.
Top of the order now, Lorenzo Cain. 1 out of 3. Singled and scored on the Yelich homer in the first. Hitting .310. He is the 3rd best hitter in the National League as far as average. On base percentage .399 with his 1 for 3 tonight. He's been hovering around that .400 mark all year. That would be a career best for Cain if he keeps it up. Bouncing ball cut off by Candelario, and that will retire the side. Best inning yet for a Tiger pitcher. Alex Wilson retires him in order.
Here at Miller Park, and taking a look at our Miller Lite What's on Tap. This is what we know for tomorrow. It'll be Wade Miley against Daniel Norris. Wade Miley has been terrific for the Brewers, a 5-2 record and a 2.32 earned run average. In terms of Sunday, we do know that for the Tigers it'll be the righty Spencer Turnbull, but the Brewers are keeping that one open because, as Craig Counsell said before the game, their scenario right now is just to take care of business, and he said all of the plans for Sunday will change based on the results the next 2 days. The Cubs did win earlier this afternoon at Wrigley against the Cardinals, so their lead currently is a 1.5 over the Brewers, and if the Brewers win today, that'll go back to a half game. So he said all of those things coming into consideration, they're going to leave Sunday open. They do have contingency plans. They do have Yoelis Chacin set up for the wild card game, so depending on the outcomes of the next 2 games and what Sunday means for the implications, then they'll decide for their starter.
All right, Sophia, good information there. Yeah, each day presents its own set of challenges, and with a bullpen like the Brewers have, they have plenty of options, and they could certainly have a bullpen day and feel comfortable with that. Corey Knebel is on to work the 7th inning.
Speaking of feeling comfortable, Corey has been tremendous. The month of September has been good to Corey.
Has not allowed a run in the month of September. Pitched in 4 out of 5 days. That last time out in St. Louis, some huge outs he recorded in a tight game in St. Louis. It was on Tuesday night.
He's had a couple of days off, including yesterday's team off day.
Well, you know where Knebel's heart is during the celebration in the clubhouse after the game as the champagne was flying. Corey got on his phone and FaceTimed with his wife and his brother, his parents. He wanted his family and all those closest to him to experience that with him. That was very cool. A lot of players did that, actually.
Yeah.
Love that scene. I talked to a lot of families. I don't remember who they were, but a lot of phones and FaceTime, and feel like you're right in the middle of it.
Yeah. None of the players realize that, mom and dad, the wives, siblings all play a big part of a guy getting to the big leagues and having success. Can't do it by yourself. Not many can.
McCann with a base hit to left. That is the first hit since McCann's RBI single in the first inning. Brewers pitchers Davies and Woodruff had retired 17 consecutive Tigers until that single by McCann.
And one of the few times lately that the Brewers pitching staff has been behind an account. That was a 2-1 pitch. Actually a 3-1 pitch. And McCann sitting fastball, got it, hit it hard.
Brings a tying run to the plate here in the 7th inning. Jacoby Jones, the speedy center fielder. Big swing and a miss. You figure for Counsell, after getting 2 clean innings out of Woodruff, Knebel, Soria, and Jeffress. You still have Hader in the wings if you wanted to use him.
Craig Counsell would just as soon not have to use Josh tonight.
Strike 2.
Doesn't mean he wouldn't. Like to stay away from him.
No balls, 2 strikes. And he got a big curveball from Knebel. A strikeout for the first out of the 7th inning.
Yeah, that's the equalizer for Corey Knebel. You got a guy sitting looking 97 with a fastball, then you drop that for a strike. Way out in front, over the top of it. The big swing comes up empty as Jones.
Let's come full circle here for Corey Knebel. The Detroit Tigers, the team that drafted him out of the University of Texas. He was a first rounder in 13 by the Tigers, 39th pick overall that year. The next year, as a Hawthorne prospect, he was traded by the Tigers to the Texas Rangers for guess who? Joakim Soria.
I was going to guess that.
You would have been right. Soria went to the Tigers. He struggled that season. They got him for the postseason push. He was hurt. But yep, Knebel traded for his current teammate, and then he was quickly flipped from the Rangers to the Brewers. Matter of fact, he was traded in late July of 2014. Did not appear in a big league game with Texas. Gets into the offseason, and then before the season begins, he's traded to the Brewers. That was in the Giovanni Gallardo deal. So his time in Texas wasn't long. There's a swing and a miss. Victor Reyes in a 2-2 count.
That's the thing about that curveball. I mean, when he leaves it down there, yeah, surprising that he swung at it. It was a 2-1 pitch. I mean, normally hitters are just sitting dead red, looking fastball. Got the curveball. It was out of the zone. He swung at it anyway. Let's see if Corey can take advantage of that.
2-2 the count. Fouls it off. Corey Knebel's major league debut came as a Tiger less than a year after he was drafted. May 24th of 2014 was his major league debut. Two the count. Victor Reyes at the plate. And a called strike 3 right on the edge. Knebel paints with 96 miles an hour.
Yeah, not exactly where Kratz wanted it, but it worked out. A lot of times you're not getting a call like that. That was borderline down. Look where Kratz is. He goes down and still gets the call from Alfonso Marquez. Looked like he had the plate barely, but it was down. Kratz wanted it up. Good miss.
Here's Ronnie Rodriguez now. 2 outs in the inning. First at bat for Rodriguez, who takes over at the shortstop position. Knebel, the all-star closer from a year ago, has regained his form from a year ago in the month of September. That brief 2-week shutdown did him a world of good. He says nothing has changed. He goes, I feel the same. I'm throwing the same. Just the results are better. But you could certainly point to better command, and better command of the curveball being the big difference.
And normally that is mechanics. I mean, it might be just a fine line, but his mechanics much more consistent on that curveball, and he's throwing it for strikes more often.
A swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Rodriguez.
It's been a nice late season acquisition, isn't it? Corey Knebel throwing well again. Huh?
How about that late season acquisition? Wow.
Right.
Country hardball with a big curveball. The 1-2 pitch, and there is the fastball that misses. Kratz wanted it inside.
Kind of yanked that one that time. Kind of had a bit of a cut to it.
The big Texan, Knebel, trying to strike out the side here in the 7th inning. Tying run at the plate for the Tigers. And he got him. Curveball. 3 Ks for Knebel. He keeps racking them up. Impressive. Christian Yelich leads off when we come back. Discharged from the United States Marines. First time he's had a chance to see Christian play in Milwaukee. First at bat, Christian Yelich hits one for his brother. Badger Mutual Insurance play of the game, a 2-run blast. Brewers were down 3-0. After that home run, it was 3-2 before there was an out. And there is Cam Yelich. I mean, he has to be so excited to be here in person. What that kid has seen, 3 tours of duty, and here he is in a packed ballpark in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and his brother is headed to a Most Valuable Player award this season.
He is very proud of his brother, and Christian couldn't be more proud of his brother.
He talks about it often.
Yeah, mutual admiration. Good stuff.
No balls and a strike on Christian Yelich, and he takes a ball. He has a very impressive streak going right now. I mentioned the Barry Bonds treatment. He's got a little bit of that going because he has reached base in 9 consecutive plate appearances. 7 walks in there and 2 home runs.
Yeah, last out he made was Tuesday night in St. Louis. He grounded out, and then in the 9th inning hit a 3-run homer and hasn't been retired since.
5 walks on Wednesday, hit a 2-run home run to start his night tonight, and then back-to-back walks his next 2 trips to the plate. 9 in a row. And a .398 on base percentage because of it. It's worth rolling on. Historical second half happening. 2-2 the count. And a called strike 3, and the streak is over. We'll take a bow, Christian. At his best when it counts the most.
Yep, borderline up in the zone, up and in. How dare Alfonso Marquez ring him up? Looked like a decent pitch, though. Doesn't he know he's got a streak going?
Maybe next year he'll get the MVP treatment. So 1 away. Here is Jesus Aguilar. He's got a single tonight. It's 1 for 3. Crowd announced tonight 44,770. Sellout number 6. And this is what it will look like the rest of the way as long as the Brewers are alive. Hoping it's a World Series year in Milwaukee. Don't forget to, if you want to come to a game, a postseason game, get on it ASAP. Brewers.com. There are very limited tickets available, mostly standing room, but you can secure some tickets if you sign up for a season ticket plan in 2019. That's the best way to do it at this point. Place is going to be hopping.
Nice crowds all weekend. Fan appreciation weekend here at the ballpark. As if you need another reason to come out here.
Brewers are going to go over 2.8 million in attendance. One of the great success stories in Major League Baseball. The team on the field and the baseball community here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Proud to be a part of it. A ball and 2 strikes. Aguilar gets jammed, pops it foul. He's trying to go the other way. If the Brewers end up in a wild card game, that'll be Tuesday, televised by ESPN, and our old friend Matt Vasgersian on the call.
Yeah,
it'd be great to have him here. If the Brewers end up in the division series, that will be Thursday. Network to be announced, either FS1 or MLB Network. That's a swing and a miss. 2 outs.
Alex Wilson's been throwing the ball well. 5 up, 5 down, 3 strikeouts. And good fastball. He's got a slider to go with it.
He has 3 Ks.
A fastball that really isn't overpowering, but he's been locating it very well.
Here's Travis Shaw now looking for his first hit. 5-3 Brewers lead it, bottom 7. Brewers trying to cover up a Cubs win earlier today. They beat the Cardinals. Brewers needing a win tonight to remain 1 game back of Chicago with 2 to play. Now, one thing's for certain, whoever keeps winning in this division to secure the division title will have the best record in the National League. Which will mean home games up until the World Series, through the Division Series and Championship Series. Get the home field advantage.
92 wins for the Brewers. 48 of them so far have come here at Miller Park.
Division Series is best of 5. NLCS is best of 7. One ball, 2 strikes on Shaw. You still could have home field advantage in the World Series. Just depends on who makes it from the American League. If it's Boston or New York, they will have the home field. Even Oakland. It's the haves and the have-nots in the American League. But no longer is the World Series decided by the All-Star game. Best record among the matchups get home field now.
Kind of the way it should be, right?
Yeah.
I would think.
They did that because they, the planning, the setup is an international affair, a global series when you're in the World Series. Little half swing and Shaw strikes out. Alex Wilson 6 up, 6 down with 4 strikeouts. We're on our way to the 8th. The Brewers lead it. Here comes Hader. Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste and only 96 calories. By Toyota. Let's go places. And by the new film First Man. Only in theaters and IMAX October 1st. Brian Anderson, Bill Schroeder, Sophia Menard, our Emmy Award-winning reporter. Tonight's game produced by Brent Reeland, directed by Adam Bryant III. Great to have all of you with us, our great crew here in Milwaukee. It is the 8th inning. The Brewers have a 5-3 lead, and with a 2-run lead to protect, Craig Counsell is going to go to his big left-hander, Josh Hader.
Yeah, he was terrific his last time out against the Cardinals. Hader a scoreless inning, a couple of strikeouts, right back at it after having a rough outing the time before in St. Louis. 140 punch outs in 79 innings for Josh.
Had an excellent redemption game against the Cardinals on Wednesday. Perez comes in. He'll play second base. Counsell tightens up his infield defense. That moves Shaw over to first. Aguilar is out. Jeimer Candelario leading the way for the Tigers. Their leadoff hitter in the 8th. Hader misses with a fastball. Second largest crowd of the season tonight. Only opening day drew a bigger crowd. 44,700 in the ballpark tonight. Here's a 1-1. 1-2.
And it was all about bad command for Hader in that game on Monday against the Cardinals, a 3-run inning. He was throwing hard but getting a lot of the plate. And part of what it makes him so good is his ability to put the baseball in the corners. Much better the other day, Wednesday.
Struck out 2, pitched a full inning across 2 different frames. Got the final out of the 7th and then the first 2 outs of the 8th. Crowds of that hit him, I think. Or are they saying it hit the bat? No, it hit the hand, and Candelario is aboard. Hit him with a 2-strike pitch. That is reviewable. It is rarely overturned. You could almost hear a little bit of a double tick as it went by.
Might have got him right on the wristband. Didn't hit him by much, just grazed him. And you know, with 2 strikes, Candelario is going to be appealing to the umpire. I got to get to first base here. It hit me.
Brewers will challenge this. You might as well in the 8th inning. Take a listen.
I didn't hear anything.
Did you say something, Ron?
This is awfully difficult to overturn.
It's one of those why not.
But the 8th inning, why not? You're right.
Crew chief is over, Sam Holbrook, and the calling umpire Alfonso Marquez.
And we went through this in St. Louis when a pitch apparently hit Matt Carpenter at super slow motion. You know, sometimes when the baseball hits you, you can see maybe the jersey might have a ripple in it, maybe the skin. Nothing. The hit batter was upheld. Clear and convincing evidence. I'm not sure they have it. We'll see.
Umpires just waiting word from the replay center in Chelsea, New York. Umpire assigned to this game. Also a supervisor is in there. I'm sure there are a few eyes on it.
You wonder if the home plate umpire just reacting to the hitter pleading that it hit him.
If I'm facing Josh Hader with 2 strikes, that's going to be my play as well at the plate.
Yeah, right. Especially if it didn't hit you. You're good. Get first base.
Here comes the result. And points him to first base, so the call stands. And now the Tigers again will bring the tying run to the plate. 5-3 game. Brewers scored 5 unanswered after the Tigers had 3 in the first inning. Brewers tied it with 3 in the bottom of the first.
Yep, only the second base runner since the first inning.
At one point, Brewer pitchers had retired 17 straight. Lead man on. Here is Dawel Lugo now. Pinch hitting. Hader does not get many ground balls. His ground ball pitch would be his slider. Mostly strikeouts and pop-ups. But he could use a ground ball here. Lugo tracks one in low for a ball. 1-1 the count.
Most effective when he's up in the zone. You know, the home runs that he gave up in St. Louis were pitches that had the plate and down.
1 ball, 1 strike. This is low again. First pinch hit appearance for Lugo. Has 92 plate appearances this year for the Tigers. Like many of the Tigers, spending most of his time in the minor leagues this season. 2-1 and a swing and a miss. Fastball down and in. 2-2 the count.
That one had a little cut to it. All about the release point for Hader. Sometimes he will get some cut action.
140 strikeouts in just 79 innings for Hader this year. Leads all relievers. Matter of fact, the 140 strikeouts for Hader, the most in Major League history by a left-handed reliever. He's got a franchise record as well, which he passed Corey Knebel a few weeks ago.
Anytime he gives up a hit, it's kind of unusual. You kind of think to yourself, what was that?
2-2 pitch, missed inside. Yeah, you're right. That inside fastball he's thrown is running inside as opposed to tailing back over the plate.
Yeah.
It's a big pitch right here. 3-2 the count. Lead man on, hit by a pitch. Brewers lead by 2. Hader deals and a fly ball deep left field. That is going to fly out of here. Tie game. First home run of the season for Lugo. And just like that, from an unlikely source, the Tigers have squared it at 5.
Yep, a 3-2 fastball, middle in. Jumped all over it.
How about your first Major League home run against Josh Hader in the middle of a pennant race?
Yep, looking in, he got it in and knocked it out of here. Nice easy swing. And we're back to even in the 8th. A no doubter to left.
Nobody out. Hader starts it over. Castellanos with a big swing and a miss. Two-strike hit batter, 2-strike, 2-run homer. First Major League home run for Lugo. 0-2 the count.
And one of the few hard hit balls the Tigers have had all night. Didn't hit a ball hard in the first. Base hit by McCann in the 7th was hit pretty well. That one was crushed. Wasn't even a strike.
Just sucked the air out of the building right now. 5-5 game. Castellanos takes a slider down and in. Joakim Soria is starting to get loose. Hader was unable to finish his last game with a walk. Had to be taken out mid-inning. It's back-to-back games where he has not finished an inning, and as great as he has been, as historically good as he has been, he is starting to show signs of being human on the mound.
And it's not really velocity, it's location. Location issues right now. 2 of the last 3 appearances. Really hasn't been able to put the baseball where he wants it. You get spoiled watching that guy all season, and when he gives up runs, you wonder what's going on. It happens once in a while.
He had only given up 6 home runs all year. until Monday night in St. Louis. Gave up 2 in that game and now 1 here tonight. Do it again. Another 2-2 to Castellanos. Pretty good pitch. Kratz couldn't catch the ball, trying to stick it in the strike zone and give him a good look. Now it's 3-2. This guy's got big pop. Castellanos, 22 homers. Hader's got to make a good pitch here. 3-2. Inside, ball 4. 3 consecutive base runners against Josh Hader.
Well, started with a hit batter with 2 strikes. And since that time, the command has been a little bit off.
Counsell checking the card here for the Tigers, who is available on the bench.
Switch hitter up, a left-hander on deck.
They've already used the switch hitter Saltalamacchia. Victor Martinez is on the roster and active, but by all accounts he's played his final game. And Kratz on his way out after Hader misses to Goodrum. Well, you figure Hader at least threw a Ducey, who is on deck.
Yeah.
And then it would be Soria.
This is where Kratz really, pays off. I mean, his experience going out there just to give Hader a little bit of a breather. Really not a whole lot going on in this conversation other than, just calm down. Let's relax. Let's get this inning through, and we'll get you some runs.
See, Ron Gardenhire has Mikey Matuk on deck. Hader in a bad spot here. 2 are in. First 3 have reached. Still nobody out in the 8th. And a strike. Goodrum had an infield hit off Davies and an RBI in the first inning. A little tapper out to short. Fly ball right field, hit pretty well. Yelich, the Gold Glover, is there to make the catch. Well, that gives you a scare. That one sounded good off the bat.
Yeah, he barreled it up.
Line drive out, and now the pinch hitter Matuk will be announced, and we'll see if Craig Counsell makes a move here with 1 away. Here he comes. So Ducey is out. Mikey Matuk will bat. And Counsell will bring on Soria. Another tough outing for Josh Hader. Something Counsell has not had to do much all year. Take the ball from Hader in the middle of an inning. 5-5 game. Tigers with 2 on the board on a home run from Lugo. And now we'll set up Soria after this. Is Joakim Soria to try to get the final 2 outs of this 8th inning with a runner at first base.
Yeah, we saw Soria on Tuesday against the Cardinals and looked pretty good. A 3-up, 3-down ninth. He's made 23 appearances with the Brewers. He's been pretty good. He had a stretch where he was having a tough time, but lately he's been right back on track. Picked up from the White Sox back on July 26th.
He will face Mikey Matuk, pinch hitting for Jim Adduci. Matuk has bounced into 3 double plays this season, 64 games as a member of the big league Tigers, and a wave and a miss. Soria with a little cut on that fastball.
Yeah, nothing really he throws is straight. He's got the changeup, the curveball. He's got the cutter. Good changeup.
Matuk has big pop. He's had a 20-homer season between AAA and the big leagues. That one's hit hard to left, but Braun is there. Out number 2. A line drive out. And the pinch hitter is retired. Soria will face James McCann here with 2 away and a runner at first base. Looking ahead to the Brewer 8th inning. Ryan Braun will lead off, then Moustakas, then Kratz. Brewers do have options on the bench if they choose, with Scope still sitting there awaiting a potential at-bat, an impact at-bat. McCann takes a strike on the corner. Got the benefit of a call there, did Soria. He'll take it. Former Tiger Joakim Soria, did not go well for him there, but in his defense he was injured, trying to pitch through injury. Big sweeping curveball misses.
Yeah, tried to go back out there to see how far home plate umpire was going to go. Not that time.
Soria has an array of offerings, from over the top to the 3/4 delivery. He's comfortable dipping down. That one's over the top and a fastball missed. 2-1 the count on McCann. Seen this guy swing wildly, chase pitches, and then in a flash turn into Joey Votto with plate discipline.
Yeah, that 2-strike approach, right?
Just laid off 2 pretty good pitches. 2-1 the count. Ooh, he had a big cut. Missed one right in the wheelhouse. And it's 2-2.
He's got that launch angle swing, little slight uppercut. Keep that baseball, at least the fastball, down. Actually, don't keep it down. Get it up in the strike zone. You don't want to keep it around the lower part of the strike zone.
See what Soria has. This crowd trying to help him out. And he slings one in 3/4. It's that sidearm breaking ball. That's the one McCann took on the second offering. It's a little different story with 2 strikes. Everything Soria throws just disappears somehow. Yeah. Sinker or the slider, the cutter. He's got that 3/4 fastball to go along with a 3/4 curve. And a great change. 2-2 pitch. He's late and fouls it away.
That's where he wanted up there. Much more difficult to get to up in the strike zone than it is down. Fastball's up, breaking pitch is down. That's the way it is these days.
Big pitch, tie game, 8th inning. Soria deals and a swing and a miss. A slow curve. 70-mile-an-hour curveball. A strikeout to end the inning. Tigers get 2. We're all tied.
Game one happened 5-5. Well, the Tigers hit that home run to tie it up in the top of the 8th inning right now. So drama on a Friday night. This one obviously there for the taking for Milwaukee.
It is. This Detroit Tiger team, a young, free swinging ball club. Josh Hader made a mistake. Lugo hits his first home run. Hey, it's time for the offense to start applying pressure.
All right, let's see what they can do late here. Jerry and I will be joined by Rock after the ball game, Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin post-game report. We'll talk more about the MVP to be. Christian Yelich, his brother in town as well. This tight playoff race will keep you up to date. And hear from the team as well, including manager Craig Counsell coming up after the ball game, BA.
All right, Craig, thanks. Looking forward to that with Craig and Augie, Brewers Live postgame. And a former MVP will lead the way in the bottom of the 8th. Going to be a final at-bat win for someone tonight. Brewers have had a season of the dramatic 10 walk-off moments here at Miller Park. Tigers have made some changes here. They have brought on Victor Alcantara to pitch, and Lugo, who hit the 2-run homer, will stay in the game to play second base.
Yeah, Alcantara's been pretty good. 8 consecutive scoreless appearances. That covers 7 2/3 innings. 27th appearance, earned run average just a little over 2. Kind of a herky-jerky delivery. Yeah, low 90s, low to mid 90s.
Ryan Braun with a home run to tie the game in the first inning after the Tigers had scored 3 in the top half. 1 ball, 1 strike. Big swing by Braun. 1-2 now.
It takes him an awful long time to show that baseball, does Alcantara. You can see the way he keeps that ball in the glove a long time, longer than most. It makes it difficult to pick up the baseball.
Good work by Joakim Soria to get through the 8th inning with no further damage, stranding a runner at first. Braun, a hot one on the ground, foul. 1-2 the count. Braun's home run in the first inning came on an 0-2 pitch. Started by Jordan Zimmerman. The Tigers get their starter off the hook. None of the Brewers have faced Alcantara with the exception of Tyler Saladino. He's got 1 at-bat against him. This is a new arm. The 1-2. Braun takes a ball. 2-2.
That Braun's home run in the first inning came on 2 strikes. 0-2 pitch.
2 hits tonight for Braun. Had a double in the 5th inning. drove one into right center. All tied at 5. Braun, the lead man, up in the 8th inning. He's got the fastball timed up, but Alcantara has put it in a good spot.
Got a little sink to that fastball.
Two and two. Braun in the air, right field, hit well. Castellanos back, and it's out! It's off his glove and out! A home run, and the Brewers take the lead. It was not going out. Castellanos pushed it out. Braun will take it. Yes. Second home run of the night.
Yeah, welcome back, Ryan Braun, huh? Boy, what a week he's having. Five home runs in 4 games.
6-5 Milwaukee.
Yeah, bat of the glove just rolls right off the top of the wall. Wow, we don't see that very often. How about that one?
All those line drive outs all year Braun has been hitting into. He might have just cashed him in right there. That was the break of all breaks.
How about that? I mean, it just rolled so slowly off top of that fence and rolled out over there. Amazing.
Moustakas takes a strike. 2 strikes again. Ryan Braun with a home run to the opposite field. His 4th multi-home run game this year. He's got 32 of them in his career. And it gives the Brewers a 6-5 lead to start this 8th inning.
Well, he's hit some big ones this week. Had that 2-run home run in the 8th inning in a close game in St. Louis. Gave the Brewers some breathing room, and this might have been the biggest one of them all.
One ball, 2 strikes on Moustakas. Boy, what a moment here. We have seen some things this year. Madness.
Have you ever seen a ball actually roll over the fence off the top of the wall?
Negative. Moustakas, a high drive to right. Castellanos makes the catch. And the first out of the inning. Just missed it on the bat.
Watch it, just can roll, roll, roll.
Oh.
There it goes.
Incredible. Right into that guy's hands, and look at the T-shirt he's wearing.
Yeah.
Haterade. Haterade just got another big pick-me-up.
That's a good one to hold on to, sir.
No question. He did what Castellanos could not do. Thank goodness. Eric Kratz takes a strike.
That home run could very well keep the Brewers divisional championship alive. Right there, that homer.
Yeah. No balls and a strike on Eric Kratz. 0 for 3. A shot to third. Nice play by Candelario. Wow. Eric Kratz robbed of a base hit.
Yeah, right at him. Sometimes that's the hardest one to get. One hop bullet.
2 outs. Here is Arcia now. Ryan Braun with two strike home runs tonight.
Well, he said before the Cardinals series he's never felt better. Well, he's proven it.
He was right. Jeremy Jeffress will be on to try to close it down. Right now a 1-run lead.
Bottom of the order coming up for Detroit.
No balls and a strike. Arcia chops it foul. And a 2-run home run from Dawel Lugo, his first major league homer off Hader to tie it. Soria does a good job to get out of the inning, stranding a runner.
Tie game lasted one at bat.
Brewers have fallen behind twice in this game. I beg your pardon, fallen behind or tied twice, and have come back the very next half inning. Not often do you get the important at-bats of the game in the very first inning, but I think the Yelich home run, the 2-run blast before there was an out after the Tigers scored 3 runs in the first inning, still sits high on the list. You got to put Braun's home run right there as the moment, though.
Yeah, the answer runs, right? Yeah, coming right back.
0-2 to Arcia, chops it foul again,
making him realize, the Tigers going to take more than that. It's kind of the way it's been going in September. I mean, the offense has been picking up the pitching. Pitching's been picking up the offense. I mean, they're playing about as good a baseball as they have all season right now. Good defense. Everybody contributing.
No balls, 2 strikes on Arcia. Jones, Reyes, and Ronnie Rodriguez scheduled to hit in the bottom of the 9th inning. Lazy little ground ball to second base. Lugo makes the play. Side retired. Well, you got a roster full of alpha dogs these days, but the original alpha dog on this roster is making his presence felt. 5 home runs in his last 4 games. The grade 8 Ryan Braun has given the Brewers the lead as we go to the 9th. What a moment. Ryan Braun puts the Brewers on top. His second homer of the day. Keon Broxton will enter the game in right field. That moves Christian Yelich to left field. The guy who hits the home run is now out, Ryan Braun. And the Brewers have 3 center fielders in their outfield now for the 9th inning. Jeremy Jeffress on to try to save number 14. It would keep the Brewers within 1 game of the Cubs with 2 to play.
Yep, inning in the 3rd, locking up a playoff berth for the Brewers on Wednesday against the Cardinals.
It'll be Jacoby Jones to start it for Detroit. 7th place hitter, and the first pitch is down and away for a ball. It was a steady diet of curveballs for Jeffress against the Cardinals' young hitters to close out the Wednesday night game that clinched the Brewers' postseason berth. And he's thrown 2-0 to start this inning. That one is true for strike 1.
Yeah, nasty. I mean, he was spot on after having some issues, not able to play, or not able to pitch for a few days. Neck spasms.
1 ball, 1 strike. 1-2 the count. 3 curves in a row. I don't know if it's the hitter that he's matched up against or it's the quality of the pitch, but there's something different or special about that curveball right now.
It just doesn't seem like it's breaking as much. It's breaking a lot later, making it a lot more difficult on the hitter.
Let's see what he throws here. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fastball hit him. Man. Second consecutive inning that has started with a hit batter on a 2-strike pitch.
Yeah, trying to waste one. Just got away from him. This one, no question about this one. This one gets him right on the elbow. Leadoff base runner once again, back-to-back innings. Actually 3 straight innings for Detroit.
Well, Jeffress will face Victor Reyes now, the switch hitter. He is fast. Jeffress, when he's right, does get a lot of ground balls.
A big hole between first and second. Yeah, with Shaw holding the runner.
Jeremy is effective against right and lefties because of his 3rd pitch, that split change he throws. He's one of the rare closers that features 3 pitches. Throws them all well.
Yeah, Jones will run a little bit. He's got 12 stolen bases. 12 stolen bases, been caught 5 times.
Tigers fight their way back to tie the game. Brewers take the lead in the bottom of the 8th. Now the Tigers with a man on. Reyes shows bunt, takes a ball. Did throw him a curveball. You don't see Jeremy throw curveballs to lefties very often.
I haven't seen too many split changes as of late. I mean, it's been basically curveball, fastball. Split change was such a big part of his success early in the season. Two pretty close pitches right there.
Down 2-0. Check on the runner at first. A lot of speed at first base, carrying the tying run. Brewers have their best defensive unit on the field right now. 2 balls, no strikes. That one's in there. Fastball.
Yep, perfect, right on the outer edge. That's your ground ball pitch right there. Fastball away, down.
That one misses. Split change. First one he's thrown.
You figure Ray is going to get something to hit right here.
Dangerous pitch. Hitters count. The free and easy Tigers calling this their postseason. And a ground ball to second base. Got a chance here. Perez, Arcia, too shy, in time, and a double play. Taylor made.
That was a split change that got him out in front on the 3-1 count. That is a beauty right there. Fastball situation, pulled the string on it, and got his ground ball. Taylor made.
Only the fourth double play Reyes is grounded into. The split change does the trick. Screaming as he's heading out of the box. He knew it. Tigers down to their last out. Ronnie Rodriguez, second at bat of the game. Came in on a double switch. Jeffress misses with a curve again. Brewers an out away from their 93rd win to stay a game back of the Cubs with 2 to play. The 1-0. There's a strike. Fly ball left field. Yelich going back. He's got it. Ball game over. Brewers win. Jeremy Jeffress closes the door. And Milwaukee with another final at-bat win. This time Ryan Braun with the decisive home run. And the Brewers rock a game back to the Cubs with 2 to go.
Yeah, they just continue to play really solid baseball. The defense has been there tonight. The offense picking up the pitching. And Jeremy Jeffress locking down another one. He earned it tonight.
An improbable home run to win it. In and out of the glove of Castellanos. Christian Yelich with a 2-run home run tonight. On base 3 times. And the Brewers are shaking hands with win number 93 of the season. Multi-homer game for Ryan Braun. Big win tonight in the opener. Time for Brewers Live. We check in with Craig Kashawn and Jerry Augustine down in Nelly's Corner. Take it away, Craig.
All right, BA, what a win, what a save win here for Milwaukee. Christian Yelich hugging his family. We'll talk to him. We'll talk to Craig Counsell. A lot of post-game reaction. We'll break it down. Brewers Live post-game coming up next.